Welcome back to another episode of Crime, Cocktails, and BS. We are your hosts, Alex and Kaisa, and today we could not be more excited because we are joined by Josh the RHONY Stan, who, if you're not following him and are obsessed with anything reality TV, what are you doing? You need to be. We are so grateful that you're here today. How are you doing? Like we were talking before getting on, so much is happening, so you
Yeah.
must feel a little overwhelmed.
No, yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me. It was a crazy week I think this just highlighted though why Bravo is my favorite because too much was going on in the Hulu world. And then when I watched like Ladies of London and not Southern Hospitality this week, that was pretty heavy this week. But when I watched like Ladies of London, Summer House, I guess was a little bit heavy
Yeah.
this week too. When I watched Ladies of London, I was like, this is why I love Bravo. This is so peaceful. I mean, the Summer House and Southern Hospitality conversations were very necessary, but Ladies of London is just such a like peaceful show, and it really reminded me why Bravo will always be my favorite. I went to an event for the Ladies of London premiere, and their part of the event was that we were at this like tea party, and the cast was coming around to our tables, and Martha sat at our table for the longest, and she was just like, they were all exactly how they are on TV, like, and it was just such a bizarre encounter with all of them, and I loved it. Like, it was so on brand.
Oh my
That's
gosh,
amazing.
I'm jealous.
I know, seriously.
We were saying we would be best friends with Martha in real life if we could be.
Yeah,
So.
honestly.
You
I
would
feel like,
be.
yeah,
I
feel
feel
like
the
you could get along with
energy.
anyone. Yeah, it's got the right aura. Yeah, so obviously you just said why you love Bravo so much, but like, how did you get into doing this kind of commentary and getting into this life for yourself?
It was really random and not intentional. I was working in politics and I was miserable because who wants to do that? Why would you ever subject yourself to that? For some reason, 16-year-old me thought it was a good idea. So I was doing that until like this past year, but miserable in that. And was working at like a marketing agency kind of that worked with like political and nonprofit clients, and I was that like workaholic 22-year-old who never closed their laptop, and I was like, I literally need to like pry my hands off of my laptop, and the way that I did that was starting to do TikTok, because I was like, if I forced myself to sit in front of a ring light and record and talk about these things, which I'm already having all the thoughts about, I just am not relaying them to the internet, that would be a way to force myself off of my work computer. And it worked, and then all of a sudden I was making more money doing TikTok. Within 6 months of doing TikTok, I was making a comparable amount of money on TikTok to what I was making at my job that I was working at like 60 hours a week. And so it was a pretty easy transition to be like, okay, bye, I'm gonna head out and go do more of that. So it was a really like easy experience. I think because I'm just like good at speaking, I guess. I don't know. Like, it just wasn't a difficult thing. I mean, now when I watch my early videos, I'm like, those are shit. Why was I whispering? But like, it wasn't that difficult of a process for me to grow.
What a dream.
Seriously.
No, I'm very lucky.
Yeah. One of your most recent TikToks you posted about, are we witnessing the downfall of the reality TV crash out queen? And it's something Kaisa and I have talked about kind of throughout our entire time on our podcast, because we do end up supporting women's wrongs a lot. And like you said, last year was kind of the height of that, with Huda as a great example on Love Island, where we kind of were siding with her a lot and giving her a lot of grace. And as you also said, Taylor Frankie Paul with being rewarded the Bachelorette for a lot of bad behavior. And you asked a question at the end of like, how can we move forward kind of like ethically with this? And I was wondering if like you've kind of thought about that more since posting. And I know you got a lot of comments on that video too. Like, did anything kind of stand out to you? And kind of how do you think reality TV is going to be able to move forward?
Yeah, I think a distinction that a lot of people were making in my comments is that, like, with the Huda and Taylor Frankie Paul of it all, there are children involved, and that makes it a lot less fun and cute. But I do still question, like, because then there are people saying, like, well, if it gets, like, physical, that's when you draw the line. And it's like, okay, but, like, Chris and Doty was, like, beating up James Kennedy on national TV 10 years ago, and now we know that there was a lot more to that, and it wasn't what it appeared, because the show was presenting her as the aggressor, and now we don't believe that to be true. So I don't really know where the line is, and I think, like I said in the video, like, the Witches of WeHo, those are people who, yeah, they were unhinged at a time, and maybe some people still believe that they are, but the general public has fallen, or I don't want to say fallen for as if it's not true, but bought into the narrative that they have changed and evolved. And people in the comments, it was funny because they're saying, like, well, they, like, showed growth and evolution, and Huda and Taylor Frankie Paul have it. And I'm like, okay, well, Huda and Taylor Frankie Paul have been part of our collective conscious for like 5 minutes compared to those people. Like, how do we know who is deserving of being given the opportunity to have that growth? And I don't know what the answer is, but it is interesting. And I think part of that video also for me was me owning up to the fact that I was way more of a Huda apologist than I should have been and was warranted. But I think that with Love Island especially, I will continue to give more grace just because that is such a like specific, and it's not like Secret Lives of Mormon Wives where you're seeing the women in their day-to-day lives. Like that is such a isolated and weird environment that I do think that should also be treated somewhat differently than like more traditional reality shows. But I don't know, because Huda, I shouldn't have done that for Huda also. She didn't deserve it. So it's like a thing that I'm thinking of for myself too, of like, how do I talk about these things and be responsible about it?
Yeah. I mean, you weren't the only one either, though. Like, when we talked about it, I definitely made excuses for Huda, especially like more towards the
Same.
beginning when,
Yeah.
you know, it just seemed like she was so starved for love that you were kind of rooting for her in a way. And then, you know, her behavior started showing a bit more. And then right post getting out of the villa, I was kind of like, oh, I'm like
Yes.
cringing at myself. But
No, as
Yeah,
soon
she
as I listened to the
continued to
Call Her
be
Daddy
abusive.
interview,
yeah,
yeah,
that was,
when there was no accountability there, that's when I was like, oh God, what have I done?
yeah,
We've created a monster.
seriously. Yeah.
Breaking into the like ex-boyfriend with the kid, like she broke into their house or something, and oh my
And
gosh.
she's denying
I
it.
just-
But the thing is that, like, for me, I have no idea. Honestly have made a conscious choice to disengage from following every detail of her life because I just don't want to know. She's a fucking mess. It's not that much of a surprise when chaotic things happen. But regardless of whether it's true or not, she clearly is in this like cycle of chaos that is comparable to Taylor Frankie Paul, and it just makes me want to disengage because it's like you need to like prioritize yourself and your child and your
Yeah.
sanity.
Yeah, not being in like TikTok houses trying to get, yeah, whatever.
When
yeah.
she was doing that, that was another thing that I was like, yeah, I'm all set. I don't need to be a
Good.
part of this.
So bad. So bad.
It was like such an she's like on a red carpet 1 second and then like doing that, and it was like, this is not the path for you, girl, but go off.
She doesn't know what her path is. It's so weird because like we grew up on like Jersey Shore and stuff like that. That was like pure, you know, drug use, abuse, like
Yeah,
violence.
so I wasn't there for well, I mean I was alive. I'm 25. My intro to reality TV was Total Divas, which was
Okay.
much like lighter, and I mean there was like drama, but it was like clearly manufactured.
That's a nice way to enter.
I think so too.
Yeah.
The Bella
Gentle.
twins, like I love them. They're perfect. But yeah, no, I didn't really honestly like Love Island is the first, well, Bravo is mostly what I watch. And so Love Island I started watching a couple of years ago, and that was kind of like shocking to me because I don't know why, it just feels very different the way that they act on that show to the way that they act on Bravo, and I was like, "Oh my God, are people like really like this?" Like it was really a culture shock for me, especially because I don't hang out with that many straight people. So I was like, "Is this what y'all are doing?" Like, "Oh my God."
Not
And then
all the straight
recently
people are doing that, by the way. just so
No.
we're clear.
that's what
Yeah.
I'm told. But yeah, and then I actually recently watched season 1 of Jersey Shore and I was gagged by everything about it.
Yeah.
But I will say Canada Shore is great. I just watched the finale yesterday.
I
It's so
just sent
good.
Alex some
Yeah.
clips and I was like, what is this show? We need to be watching this.
No, you need
It
to
looks
watch it.
Phenomenal.
It's amazing. And I just had like the other night, I had like a 20-minute conversation with Maddie Reese from Southern Hospitality about it. She loves it and she's locked in. So it has the DJ Maddie Reese stamp of approval. I think that's important.
Yeah,
Very.
that means a lot.
We're watching
thought
it,
so.
Alex.
Yes.
We're gonna
Oh my
talk
God,
about it.
adding it to our giant list. Yeah, we're pretty like, I wouldn't say exclusively Bravo, but that's our like main focus. And it is kind of, it's polarizing to go from watching a Bravo show, like even a Real Housewife season where there's like a lot, like I hate to say it, but like watching New Jersey and getting like the season of the Joe versus Joe fight and like all those kinds of things. But then pivoting to a show where the people almost feel like diabolical and that's why they're cast on it. You're kind of like, how can both realities kind of exist? But yeah.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I don't know where we're going. I think honestly, the fact that so many people are justifying the Taylor Frankie Paul stuff tells me that nothing is going to change because clearly there is a section of the audience that is going to validate anything. which is a little concerning to me personally, but I'm also a man, so I don't know how much I'm allowed to speak on it.
Well,
On that,
yeah.
what do you think is happening with The Bachelor? I'm curious. Or Bachelorette or Shin.
I've I've been very tickled by the reactions to that as somebody who does not engage in Bachelor ever. Like I think a lot of the I don't want to call them out, but I have a lot of like women in my like non-internet life friends who have been like texting me like I just feel so bad for the men, like they are missing their opportunity to like find love. And I'm like, girl, those
They
men were
just
not going there to find love. What the hell are you talking
different.
about?
No,
Like, I love the
no.
optimism, but like, ever watch Bachelor franchises because I think it's ridiculous, and I don't think any the concept of like yelling at people for being there for the wrong reasons is just so stupid because they all are. Like, it's just so antiquated and ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, I think it was a poor choice to cast her, and I think that this is kind of the natural outcome of that decision. Like, they should not have tried to bring her into a show where she's gonna be like wearing like a red dress and being like, "I'm looking for my husband." Like, no, you're fucking
Like
not, girl.
And
Disney
then dumping the guy
princess
she
Barbie.
picks
Yeah.
after a month and getting back with her with Dakota.
No,
Yeah.
it's buffoonery. Leave her on. I mean, I don't even know that I think she should continue to be on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I think the show would be better off without her at this point. But leave her in those kinds of
Yeah.
settings.
I've been seeing online that like ABC and Hulu, the only reason why they canceled it is because it got caught. Like the video came out from 2023. So it's kind of like you were talking about accountability earlier, but not just from the talent in giant air quotes for people who are only listening. Talent versus like the studios and the people behind it. Like there needs to be some amount of accountability taken, not just because, evidence comes out that people can see, but like just doing better.
Yeah, no, I'm heavily side-eyeing everyone who's involved in this. I'm not like that much of an expert on how these things work, but like there were definitely people who were present during Secret Lives of Mormon Wives season 4 filming that could and should have been like, this lady is psychologically unwell. Let's go to the people who, I mean, I know it's not the exact same people, but like they could have communicated that to the Bachelorette people and been like, I don't know about this. Like it was publicly announced, I guess,
Yeah.
by that point already, so it would have been kind of bad to backtrack and change it, but it's worse now. Like they could have avoided this.
Right. I guess the cast brought it up to ABC and Hulu like weeks ago that they were concerned about her behavior. And I don't know. She just needs to like repent her sins and get off TV for a bit.
Yeah, but like weeks ago, I'm like, this was
Repent her
apparent
sins.
months ago that she was a damn
Yeah.
mess. Like, I don't know. Like, Secret Lives of
Yeah.
Mormon Wives season 4 was filmed like probably 6 months ago at this point, and
Yeah.
she was clearly like going through a psychotic break for the entirety of that season's filming.
I have a theory something worse is coming out that ABC knows about, and that's why they're like getting ahead of it. But that's
I would
just
not
a
be
conspiracy
surprised.
theory.
No, that would not surprise me. I mean, with the situation, I'm just expecting the worst every second. I'm like, something new is going to
Hope
drop. Me
not.
and my friend were on a live talking about the season getting canceled, and that's when the Jesse and Jordan news dropped. And I was just like, what the hell is going on? Like, I'm just expecting none of these women's lives are going to be intact within 5 business days.
Yeah. I think they need to like leave the reality TV people alone and like
Yeah.
find a better scheme for the show, because I think they're just like desperate for ratings. So they're like, let's tap one of the most popular shows on Hulu and grab someone from there. Yeah, but like the history of Taylor Frankie Paul is just like there was no way in hell someone was like, you know what? You know who we want as like a stable, good person and like want them to find love? Taylor Frankie Paul.
Yeah,
Like,
no, it was
yeah.
always to maximize chaos and
Yeah.
ratings, and it's hard because I know that is what these networks like.
Mhm.
That all of the incentives for them is to do that, so it's like I understand it on some level on their end. And I didn't really think so, but the general public did kind of believe, at least as of like season 3, that she was like learning and growing. I don't really know why we believed that, but it was like an idea that existed and was kind of dominant in the fan base. And I honestly, I'm also side-eyeing a lot of the like Taylor Frankie Paul stans who enabled her behavior up to this point. And the cast on some level. I mean,
Yeah.
now it's great now that they're like raising these things with the network, but like I think they partially and largely maybe were doing it out of fear of her stans, but they also enabled her for a very long time.
Yeah, so true. I think Mom Talk will survive. I think they'll take her off. I think
hope
all these
so.
women are like empowered. They had kids. They got married at such a young age. They're like coming into their adulthood and finding who they are, like Whitney on Broadway. Like Broadway on and, like, they're just doing their lives now, so I think they've really raised up above these, like, marriages that was kind of built in the religion, it seems like, and they're becoming their own personalities, so I think the show will continue. That's just my thought.
No, I hope
Yeah.
so. When I was watching this season, I kind of realized I like all of them except Taylor and Jen. So I don't want them all off my
Yeah,
screen. I've just
exactly.
now starting to get attached to them.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, I have to say it was so cringy, but the Demi singing was probably like I needed that kind of comic relief.
No, I'm glad that they included that. I don't know if she's glad that they included that, but I'm glad that
No.
they did. It
That's
was
so
everything to me.
funny.
No, she feels delusional enough that she probably thinks it's gonna, like,
She's like, "Ooh,
set
my
off her singing
vocals."
career.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my
And I'm
god.
sorry, all the men are just, like, mediocre and, like, they're seeing it and
The
they're,
dad
like,
talk
knowing that they're
this? No.
mediocre. Yeah, it's embarrassing almost.
Yeah. Also embarrassing before we, like, switch gears is you commented earlier about how, like, some of your non-internet friends were saying, like, they feel bad for the men. I'm in the camp that I don't because they all wanna be, like, influencers and stuff, and the guy who supposedly won, Doug, put out videos of him, like, singing with his guitar and thought it was gonna, like, start his music career. I'm like, "There's enough.
No, we
We've
have
capped
enough straight
out."
man influencers. We don't
Yeah.
need more. It's okay. And also, as somebody who loves Dancing with the Stars, I'm like, I don't need more and the
Yeah.
pipeline. We've had enough. And I saw, oh my God, I saw somebody. This is my worst fucking nightmare. Somebody posted like they should put in the time slot like a season of Dancing with the Stars that's like just people from Bachelor Nation. I was like, what are
No.
you
No, thank
talking
you.
about? Like, are you trying to kill me? Like, I can barely handle the one or two that we get on Dancing with the Stars. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? That was shocking to me. I blocked the person. I don't know who it was, but I got rid of them.
Offensive, that was offensive.
That's
Oh my
awesome.
gosh.
Oh my god, I love that so much.
I did like Joey and Jenna, I guess I should clarify, but that was about it.
Oh my god. Wait, I'm dead. That's so funny. Ugh. Well, okay, so you also alluded, and we've also kind of spoken about this week just in reality TV has just been heavy. Oh, I'm gonna give you the option. Would you want to go into some of the heavy stuff now?
Yeah,
Or
I'd love
do
to
you want
talk
to
about
lighten it
Southern
up with some ladies
hospitality.
of London? Okay, great.
No,
Let's do Southern
I'd love to get
hospitality.
into it and rant about that lady because I have so many thoughts and I've already expressed them a lot on the internet, but I
Yes.
can always have more.
Let's go. Let's get into it. So,
Rant.
yeah, rant away. Please tell us what your more of your thoughts on
Yeah, I
Emmy.
just yeah, I mean, if we should clarify, I guess I'll start with the fact that I have been to Charleston like several times. I've encountered this cast kind of a lot at this point, and I was always tickled by the fact that usually if I go to like an event and I'm like talking to people who are like adjacent to the cast or like have encountered the cast a lot or like know these people on a personal level, most of the time I will hear from like the locals that like, oh, like that person, like people say this about like people on like New Jersey Housewives. Like they're like, oh, like they're pretty normal in real life. Like it's like played
Mhm.
up for the cameras. When I'm in Charleston and I talk to like any local, they're like, no, Emmy fucking sucks. Like I've never heard anybody
Oh.
like not validate that her on-screen portrayal is how she is in real life. And still, though, I'm like always wanting to give people a chance. Well, not people, women. So I was like open to the concept of an Emmy redemption arc after last season, even though I found her to be like wildly insufferable. But I was like, let's see where we go from here. Like, I don't know the lady personally. We'll see. And then everything that has happened this season has just validated the belief that she is like the worst person to ever exist. And I'm so fascinated by it in the way that she seems so determined to guarantee her own cancellation because like the things that
For
she
real.
said on Vile Files about TJ and in off camera about Brad were obviously really bad, but if she like was apologetic about it and didn't double triple quadruple down, the outcome would be different. Like she could have theoretically still had some kind of redemption this season, but it's apparent now that that's not going to happen. Like this episode we saw her triple down about the TJ stuff. She's on an active campaign to make him look like a sexual predator in a way that is so vile. And with Brad, we'll start to see in the next episode, she's also going to double, triple, quadruple down about that. And it's just so fucking crazy. Like, I'm not really buying into the narrative that she doesn't get it. Like, I have a very difficult time with that. Even if she didn't get it at first, it's now been explained to her and she's not going to change her behavior. So I don't really care if she got it at first or not. Like, she sucks. That's my take.
Yeah, she's really weaponizing, like, the pretty white woman stance, and it's, like, the crying, the sobbing, the, like, wailing, I just
It's
can't stand
disturbing.
it.
No, the
Yeah.
hyperventilating. And if like it's like if you were only obviously either way it would be bad, but it's like if you were only engaging in like it's about black men or you were only engaging in stereotypes about gay men, like it'd be like, okay, maybe I could see how some people could give you the benefit of the doubt, but when you're doing both and it's the second you fell out with these people, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, girl, I know what you are.
Well, and then the fact that she goes and calls her sister and, like,
That was one of the craziest scenes I've ever seen in my life. No, it's
Get
very hard
off.
to watch. And also, I'm kind of very fascinated by like the lake defending her of it all. Like,
Mhm.
because we see in the preview, we saw it a little bit in this episode, and then in the preview for next week, we see that Lake is asked at the Girls and Gays night, like, are you on Brad's side or Emmy's side? And she like straight up says she's on Emmy's side, and then explains in her confessional that it's because of Brad friend zoning her. And it's like, Lake, you
Come
can't see
on.
past your personal like romantic encounter with that man to recognize that this is like fucking insane that this is happening to him. Like it's really crazy to me, but I don't know. And then it's like people online will be like, "Oh, she's like young." I'm like, "She's like a couple years younger than me. Like she should know better than this, to be honest."
Yeah. It's like, when is age like, you can't use age as an excuse forever for behavior.
No, especially because I mean Michaels is like around the same age as Lake,
Yeah.
and Michaels, well, maybe not in the premiere episode, but largely Michaels has come across as pretty like mature and like centered as a person. So I don't really buy into that excuse. And it's also funny because I don't know. I mean, Lake has been very like lovely in my interactions with her in real life, but I'm just like, what happened here? How did we get here that you're like the number one Emmy fan? It's very interesting.
That's weird.
You also, like, came out with a TikTok recently this week about how Southern charm and Southern hospitality could really take a page out of Sierra's book, specifically when she led that incredible conversation about race with the cast of Summer House. It's
That's so
so
powerful.
yeah, it was so powerful, but it's so interesting to see how the same theme can be played out in such different ways across the shows.
Yeah, I'm glad the timing happened in the way that it did because I do think on some level, like, how seriously the Bravo fandom is willing to engage in topics about race is wildly dependent on whether or not they like the person that's talking about it. So
Yeah.
Sierra is wildly popular, so if she talks about it, like, the audience will listen to her. Vanita is kind of generally disliked by her show's audience. I would not argue for the correct reasons, but still, since they don't like her, if she was to talk about this, like, it would not be as well received. So I'm glad that Sierra and I think she knows that she is popular and can, like, not get away with because she's not doing anything wrong, but she can lead these conversations because she has the support largely of the audience. And I mean, I thought it was a really important conversation. And I'm glad the timing happened in the way that it did because then when this happened on hospitality, I didn't really see anybody defending Emmy. And I think that's partially because we as an audience of Bravo were kind of like primed to have the correct take on this by that conversation. I would like to think that still that would have been the reaction anyway, but I think it was good for the timing of it. I also would differentiate the hospitality cast from the charm cast other than Emmy. Emmy, largely,
Yeah.
I think the hospitality cast I do view as more like socially progressive and more like aware of these things. I think a lot of their like facial expressions and reactions to Emmy's constant, I don't even want to say microaggressions because it's beyond that,
Yeah.
showed that. I was disappointed by the fact that several of them did kind of comfort Emmy after that conversation. But it wasn't everybody. It was Bella, the new girl, Lake, Maddie, Joe. So it was less than half of the cast, I think. But yeah, Charm just fucking sucks. And if Charm tried to have a conversation like this, I think it would.
Right. And
We would have
Vanita
Madison
does
LaCroix
deal
like
with
foaming in the mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vanita does deal with so many microaggressions, and we see it on the show all the time, and it's just like never brought up.
No,
And
it's
that's
shocking.
because
Yeah.
yeah.
And we as the
It's
audience
really
see that,
upsetting.
but they all just sit there and are like, okay, this is
Right.
normal. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Even the people who are friends with her just sit there. I mean, I was shocked when at the dinner where Craig is yelling at her that like Sally
I
was the one
know.
to stand up for her. I was like, okay, Sally, for once you're doing something
I
right.
know.
Thank you for that. I'm like, everyone else is silent, but for some reason
Like,
Sally
yeah.
is woke all of a sudden. I don't know.
I find myself siding with Sally after that reunion episode because they were like slut shaming her
No,
and
that
she
That
was
was
did
kind
do
of
bad.
like
wonders
having
for her.
fun.
I think
Yeah,
that helped her a lot, like
it
in
did.
a PR way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
Gosh,
Yeah.
they were like, you're a bar. What did they say? You're a bar rat. You're running the streets, like trying to make it better with every
Yeah.
term they called her. It was so
And then
upsetting.
Dorinda was like, "I'll come do that with you 7 days a week." And I was like, "If you
Yeah,
have Dorinda on your side, like, you're set." I mean, she did make me
seriously.
cringe a few times during the reunion. Like, she did, like,
Yeah.
throughout the season, like, when Andy Cohen asked, like, "What do you guys look for in a man?" And she's like, "Everything he has." And I'm like,
No, it's chilling. It like literally sends shivers down my spine. I'm like, girl, I'm like begging you to like get some dignity before next season film. But also I'm like, maybe don't because it's like so funny. Like I'm so
yeah.
entertained
Yeah,
by
she's
it.
super entertaining. Like, it's very entertaining. I loved when Austin was like, you guys aren't going to bully me into dating her or
Okay,
to
my
liking her.
hot take is I did feel bad for her about the slut shaming, but I also understood where Austin was coming from in that because he's very clearly just like not that into her, and that's
Yeah.
fine. Like he's allowed to
very clear
not
about
be.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was weird that Andy especially kept like trying to poke holes in all of his reasons for not wanting to date her. Like he's allowed to not be interested in her in
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah,
Not to sound like an
exactly.
Austin defender, but
No, I felt the same way in that moment. Like, I don't know. They were bullying him into liking her and dating her. And she was just like, she's relentless. I know people like her. Exactly. And it's just pure entertainment because they're so Delulu, as Alex would say. Delulu is the Salulu. Like, slaughter that. Delulu is the Salulu. But yeah, she's so entertaining on TV. As much as I don't like a lot of the things she does. I
no,
think
I
they
mean
should keep
this.
her.
Yeah, this season is the best the show has been in several years, and
So
it's
Yeah.
long.
almost entirely because of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do have verification on Charlie from Charm is dating Justin from Southern
Yeah.
Hospitality, and I'm so fascinated by that couple. I think
Me
that's so
too.
bizarre.
Yeah, Whitner had it on his Instagram. I think it was last night or the night or like 2 nights ago and it was a repost of Charlie being like my 2 boyfriends and it was
Yeah, yeah,
Whitner
yeah.
and him. Yeah, I was like, I'm glad that she's like not hiding it and is happy and she's not like on this Craig train anymore because like I don't wish that for anyone, especially
No.
now. Like he's I mean, we're watching him crash out on
Yeah.
the
It's
reunion like
kind of
crazy.
really
Also
upsetting,
quoting
actually.
Housewives and thinking that he's, like, saying it for the first time, like, looking at Whitner being like, "This is your first reunion. You haven't been here
That
before."
was
I'm like,
so
"I've heard this so
insane.
many times."
That was strange. I have a lot of thoughts about the Craig of. I don't really understand where the show is supposed to go from here with Craig because I definitely don't agree with almost anything that the Craig stans say. I usually am fighting with them on a regular basis, but they do kind of have a point in that everyone is always talking about him and kind of centering him over whatever is going on in their own lives. And it's very clear watching this reunion that, and even watching like social media in the past several months, that like there are, for the first time in a long time, a lot of authentic friendships among this cast. Craig is just not a part of any of them. Like, it seems like everybody else is hanging out all the time in Charleston. They're all like good friends, and Craig is just kind of in his own world. And I don't really know how long they can sustain a show that is so centered around him when none of them like him or want to
Yeah.
be around him and are all
Right.
terrified of him. Like, how do we really go from here?
He needs to go to rehab and they need to continue without him. That's my take.
Well, I need to ask you guys because I kind of felt like I was going insane about the fact that both in season and at the reunion, when Austin brings up like the very valid question of like, why are we all just accepting that Craig is like ripping shots this
Yeah.
season when last season he was calling himself an
Yeah.
alcoholic, and everyone acts like he's crazy for bringing that up? And I'm like, that's like a pretty valid and normal question that a lot of the audience
Absolutely
is
valid.
having too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a huge
especially
scene last season when he was like,
Yeah.
I got to sit you down and tell you this. I have an addiction problem. Like, he was very clear about his struggles.
Yeah.
And now they're just pretending it didn't exist.
Yeah, you can't call something an addiction and, like, say it not just to your friends and your family, but, like, on national television where you have millions of people watching you. You're also at the time dating one of Bravo's, like, favorite people who has probably one of the biggest backings behind her. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, that ended and I'm drinking again. So just accept me. But I thought it was kind of nuts too that no one was like, Craig, you said you had an addiction and a problem. And now we're just supposed to accept the fact that like all you want to do is take shots, drink in hot tubs, and like everything's cool. Like, that's
I
not
know,
how
it's
this
Quote
very
works.
like
bizarre.
quotes from therapists that he's heard in the wrong situations. Like that's what he does.
That he got a spray from a magician, like that's normal. Like,
That was so funny.
also my thing is like, if you call yourself an empath, you're not an empath.
And when has Craig ever shown empathy to literally anyone? I'm like, what are you even talking about?
Oh my gosh, wait, the part where he asked the producer, did that make you cry? That was like, oh my God, you're on like sociopath level.
I love who it was Austin who said that. I love that he brought that up. That was everything to me.
That was
My
so
God.
huge.
No, it's crazy. Also, the only explanation that I can think of, and maybe this is like, I don't know, is that I think like Andy maybe and the rest of the cast, like I feel like if they treat that question as valid and like really dove into that, the like obvious answer is yeah, Craig relapsed and is like in active addiction, and the show is kind of bad for like enabling that and be like, Craig's having fun and like showing him drinking and party. So I'm like, maybe they like can't acknowledge that it's as serious as it is, because then they would all look like really bad for like participating in this and acting like it's okay. That's the only theory that I have, because it is so weird that they are like kind of gaslighting Austin and being like, what are you talking about? It's fine. And it's like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
And we're all seeing it like in Mexico when they were like, he was drinking and they were all having fun, and then it kept going like shots, and then like, we're gonna grab a bottle, and we're all like, oh gosh, no. The viewers are all cringing, and
but it's also just
horrible.
It's just, I mean, alcoholism and like accusing someone of being an alcoholic has also just been such a theme on so many different Bravo shows. I mean, how many times have we heard the cast of New York being like, Sonia has a drinking problem, Luann has a drinking problem, Rinda has a drinking problem. Like, I mean, those are the big three I can like think of.
Ramona used to always get accused also, and that was, I mean, I don't think that was, well, debatable, but that kind of fell off in the later seasons. At the beginning, though, they were like, Ramona's an alcoholic. Like, yeah, everybody has been accused of it, and it kind of lessens the severity of it, but Craig said it himself, and it's very clearly true. But I also think that with him, it's just like I think Paige probably led the charge in getting him to address that, and then once she was gone, he was like, oh, fuck you, Paige, I'm gonna go back to drinking, because men, well, Craig, I shouldn't say all men. Men like Craig are like that and have no ability to like recognize their own problems or regulate their emotions or be normal. So I think it's like a rebellion thing on his end.
Yeah. Or he's processing that grief by drinking because he can't do it sober. Yeah.
I got a lot of comments a few weeks ago when I was being very critical of Craig, being like, you don't have any empathy for this man who's heartbroken. He went through such a difficult break. I was like, girl, I went through a breakup at like the same exact time as him. My relationship was longer than theirs. I didn't scream at women on national TV like 8 times. Like, you can handle these things. It's like actually okay.
Also, like, he was fine. He was dating whatever, Jimmy Buffett's daughter.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah, like right away.
I forgot about
going after Charlie, like clearly he.
Well, I don't believe at all what he said that he would have picked Charlie over Paige. I think that was like him being a petty little bitch, but he did say it.
I think it was just to be manipulative, though.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think most things he says are.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was shocked Charlie like decided no right after that breakdown.
I was proud of her.
I loved that.
She's strong.
But now it's just sad because if her and Justin continue to date, like all of the like boy mom 60-year-old Southern Charm fans are going to be like so insufferable. They already are starting being like, how could she pick this dirty fuckboy over the Pillow King Cret? Like, it's just like, this is like, they love him. It's so crazy.
Stop.
The Pillow King needs to focus on sewing then, because like take that energy somewhere better.
I like feel like it's my mission on Earth to remind people though of when like he was on Watch What Happens Live like last season and like said he like doesn't even really know how to sew like that, like
yeah,
it's all a lie, and it's like so obvious to everyone except that section of the audience. They're just like, I feel like they've just defended him for so long at this point that, and I also actually was thinking about this, and I think I'm gonna make a video about this, so this is an exclusive before I fully get the thought out. I think And I get it because I also am like very when I rewatch the early my straight twin is watching Southern Charm for the first time right now. So I've been kind of going down memory lane with him and talking a lot about Catherine Dennis and that entire mess. And
My
I'm
God, yeah.
very defensive of her. I think that many people involved in the show should like probably be in prison for
Yeah.
ruining her life.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But I think that part of the Craig love is that so many people watch this show exclusively through the lens of supporting Catherine. And that's like the correct way to watch many of the early seasons.
Mhm.
But I think that a lot of people are still stuck in the like, Craig was the only one who was nice to Catherine. He's the only like gentleman in the group. And because that was true at a time, they just like can't move past that. And because Catherine is like still struggling, obviously we're all still thinking about her and like being mad at the men who were evil to her. But at some point you have to move past that Craig was nice to Catherine and recognize that that was one incident of him treating a woman well. We haven't really seen it since. So like we
Yeah.
can, both things can be true at the same time. And that does not mean that Craig is deserving of endless loyalty from this audience.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. And I think he definitely lost a good chunk of fans too with the breakup with Paige and kind of how he acted. I mean, yeah, I'm team bedbug for sure. All day, every day. Like just to segue kind of into Summer House, like I think we all kind of were concerned of how it was gonna do without her there. And I think this season's been really great.
It is.
And you said recently how KJ has just been like such a great addition to the cast. And, you know, it really is truly like one of the best new people to come into a show, not taking someone either from another show or an old season. Granted, we love that Rachel Zoe's on Beverly Hills.
Oh, hell yeah.
She's
I
making it
mean, she's the
incredible.
only good part of the show.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how do you think or what do you think makes like a good new addition? And like, how do you think Bravo can actually like implement that in more of the shows that they have?
Yeah, I'm kind of fascinated by the fact that this season is going so well because I'm like, this cannot be the same like team that cast Lexi and Imrul. Like, I have a
Yep.
very difficult time believing, or
Yeah.
has cast. Well, it's weird. Yeah, I guess we had like an on and off, like what the Wes and Jesse season that was like a good casting victory, and then yeah, it was just so catastrophic with season 9, and then they're back. Maybe they just like were still just so happy about getting Wes and Jesse that they like thought they could chill for season 9, and then they were like, wait, fuck, we really messed up. We gotta lock in. I think the Mia thing is, and I actually was talking about this with Carl the other night at Softbar, where I'm so confused why Mia did not get cast on this show like 2 to 3 years ago. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like so obvious that she fits in with the group and is just such a good addition. And I think that her being a real life friend of Sierra, like, it's just so obvious. And I think for some reason, Bravo does seem resistant at times to bring people like that. Obviously, they like, I mean, Charlie theoretically was like brought in as like Sally's but I'm like, were they really that close? Like, it doesn't really seem like it. Like, Mia just seems like a person who is like a real friend to Sierra, and maybe she's not like bringing like over the top drama, but she's bringing like positive energy and good vibes and is there to like have fun, which I think Lexi wasn't really. I mean, was Lexi bringing good vibes? Like, I don't particularly think so.
What
don't
was
think
Lexi
so.
bringing is the actual question.
Animosity from old white women in Sierra's direction is probably the only
Yeah! Oh
contribution
my
that
gosh.
Lexi
My
brought.
goodness.
It's kind of funny also
Spot on.
seeing a lot of people this season be like, I get like a lot of comments like this being like, Jesse's so gross, like Lexi's vindicated. And I'm like, I was never not on Lexi's side because I didn't believe her that Jesse's gross. Like, we all know that Jesse's gross. We were not happy with her because she was pushing that on Sierra and making it. I'm very fascinated by the concept of there being people who just this season are realizing that Jesse Solomon is like nasty. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
obviously. But yeah, I don't know how to replicate it necessarily, but I think they did a really good job. I'm very impressed by these new additions other than Ben, because I just think he's kind of snoozy.
Yeah.
And I'm really
Bailey's
excited to
great.
see. Yeah, no, I love
Yeah.
Bailey.
I love
But I'm
Bailey.
excited to see when the newbies start tussling with each other, and we're
Yeah.
gonna get it with Bailey and Dara. I think. Well, I guess we got it a little bit with Bailey and Ben, but that wasn't like fun. It's like man versus woman.
No. Yeah.
We need the girls to fight a little bit, like just a little, sometimes as a treat. And I'm excited to see it. I'm very curious though to see what side the audience ends up being on,
Mhm.
because it feels like, and I posted about this the other day, but there's already kind of a lot of like building animosity towards Dara from the audience for
Yeah.
reasons that are not
Yeah.
clear to me at all. I'm like so confused by it. And I don't know whose side people are going to be on in that situation, because Bailey did have the support of the majority of the audience against Ben. And I don't know if that's going to continue to be the case when those girls tussle, but we'll find out soon, I guess.
I think Ben should go.
He's
For
just boring. Like I wasn't even that strongly on Bailey's. Like I kind of saw both sides in their drama. I'm not one of the people who was saying like Ben was like screaming and it's like he really wasn't. Like he was harsher in tone than I would have preferred he was, but people were acting like he was like Tom Sandoval or Jax like screaming at a woman, and that's just roll back the tape. That's just not
Yeah.
really what happened. But I just think he's boring. Like he's not that interesting, and
boring.
if he can't have romantic situations with people in the house, I don't think you need to have that. Mia is in a relationship as well, but Mia is like bringing vibes. Mia's bringing fun. She's having these like deeper conversations with the cast. Ben is like just kind of like there, and it's like, okay, I've seen enough, respectfully.
He's relying on his hotness too much. Like that's what
And he's not even that
expecting to keep
hot.
him famous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like he's
Like KJ's
cute,
so much
but, like,
hotter, and that's why again I'm so
Yeah.
fascinated by the like Dara discourse of being like,
Yeah.
she's so desperate to get on the show, and I'm like, because she went for like the obvious catch on the like I don't know, I don't like
Also, they're so
understand the
cute
discourse.
together. Like, why
They're
can't
still
we just let
together.
it be?
Yeah. No, it's so bizarre. I'm like, it actually is like really annoying me because also somebody commented, and this is true, and I didn't even see this side of it, but there is like a like borderline racist element there of like not believing that the pretty white girl would be interested in KJ, and it's like, why wouldn't she be? Like he
Yeah.
is the most normal guy there.
He's so emotionally intelligent and like self-reflective. Like he's just very down to earth and sweet. I love him.
And I didn't know if I fully believed that like the first couple episodes, but I think I do now at this point. I think we've seen, I'm just very hesitant about all men on this network, but I think I believe it with him.
Well,
I think the
completely
moment
agree.
when he went to Wes and was like, "Can I check in with you when I'm like having
Yeah.
anxiety attacks
Oh,
or
it's
whatever?"
so cute.
Sweet.
No, I love that friendship. And I love that though, even though they are so close, like KJ still on Watch What Happens Live, like said he didn't think Wes' apology was that good in the last, like he's still willing to like check Wes. And I'm like,
Yeah.
hell yeah, I like
Mhm.
this man.
That's a sign of a good
Yeah.
friend, though, who's like not afraid to actually share their legitimate opinion about something and be like, yeah, my friend screwed up. Don't believe
Yeah.
it. Like, yeah.
It's also just crazy, and I didn't even realize this until recently, that KJ, along with KJ from Summer House and Brad from Southern Hospitality are the only two full-time cast members on Bravo who are Black men. Like, that's literally
Oh,
insane.
yeah. Whoa.
That's crazy.
I hope that this season of Hospitality, because it's going to be an ongoing conversation, because Emmy, we see in the preview for next week, is not apologetic at all and just keeps doubling down, and I've heard that happens even more than that. Like, I'm hoping that the hospitality conversations that continue to happen will kind of be better, because I don't know, I think it was a good start, the hospitality one, but yeah, the way that she was kind of coddled at the end kind of ruined it.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. No,
I just
thank
want
you.
her, I need her downfall. I need it so badly.
Same.
Like, she's just the worst. And I'm just like, and it's not even good. Like, her crashing out about like the dresses last season, that was good TV. I lived for that
That was
scene.
great.
But like, this isn't good TV. She just like takes all the energy out of every room that she's in. And then like when they're finally having fun and like TJ and Michaels are like making out, which hot, and then she has to like be annoying and like use it for her like campaign to make TJ look like a creep. It's like, go away, like, you boring loser. And I think the cast is interesting enough that they don't need her, because there are a
They
lot of
don't.
people that we don't even see get, like, Mia, I think, is one of the most like interesting and fun Bravo celebrities. And she's kind of been relegated to like a side character,
Yeah.
largely because of Emmy taking up all of the space in every scene. I think Mia
So
could get a
true.
lot more screen time without Emmy. I think Michaels has like barely gotten any screen time this season outside
Mhm.
of the first episode. Like, there are such interesting people on this cast that are not doing whatever it is that Emmy's doing. And yeah, I'm ready for her to go after this season.
Hyperventilating in a room alone and everyone else walks away and then she's
Yeah.
Yeah.
done.
And that's just, that's
Right.
the end
Yeah,
of
that's
her
just
time
it.
on the
First
show.
last you ever
Yeah.
saw her.
I would love that. Yeah.
She's
No,
such an
I'm
energy vampire.
no, truly. I'm ready for us to move on from this
Yeah.
chapter of the show, personally.
Yeah.
To quote Ladies of London, I can't remember who said it, but some people are fountains and some people are drains, and she's a hardcore drain.
She's like the widest drain I've ever seen. Like,
She's like
The
gaping
it
drain.
takes up like 8 city blocks. I really try to be nice. Like, I don't talk this way about people, but like, she has given me no choice. Like, I'm like, I like, especially women, like, I really don't do this, but I'm just like, I have
Go
no
off.
choice. Like, you're just like the worst person.
It's
And
warranted.
also, I
Yeah.
I don't even know if I should say this out loud, but I got mistaken for Will, her fiance, on the streets
No
of
way.
Charleston. So I
What?
feel like I have like a personal vendetta here.
As you should.
So funny.
Multiple people have. I've gotten like many comments actually. Like last season when I would post and I would like have Will and Emmy in the green screen behind me, I would get a lot of comments that were like, "I thought this was Will," and I'm like, "Fuck you! Shut up! Don't
Block
say
Wait,
that."
what happened on the streets? I want to like
Okay.
see this
Yeah.
play
So
out.
picture this. Oh my god. So we were hanging out with Brad from the show, and then Brad drove. It was me, my friend Kate. Was there a third person on the golf cart with us? Yeah, Nairn. Okay, my
On the
British
golf
friend
cart.
Nairn. The three of us are on the back of Brad's golf cart. Brad is driving the golf cart. Julia, his girlfriend, is next to him. And they're driving us to our Airbnb, and there's a bachelorette party on the street. They're having like a barbecue at their Airbnb, and there's this, I don't know where all her friends were, but there's a soul drunk like bride. She like
Oh, no.
has like a like temporary tattoo of like her boyfriend's face like on her chest. She like is wearing this
Amazing.
like cut off dress, and so we're like getting to our Airbnb, so we're like parked, and the woman, this girl bride, starts saying something, and I couldn't hear anything because I'm like deaf and talking to these people, but Kate hears, and apparently the girl is like, "Oh my god, like I know you guys." And then that's when I turn, because I think she's talking about Brad and Julia, and I'm like, "Oh, that's funny, like you guys are getting recognized." And she's like, "I know you two from Bravo." And again, still thinking she means Brad and Julia. And then she's like, "Brad and Will." And we're like, "Oh my god." And then Kate was like, "That's not Will."
Cringe.
And then the girl was like, "Oh my god, you're
So
his
funny.
doppelganger." And I was like, "Please stop saying this." I actually was so
Stop.
polite. Like I couldn't have been nicer to this woman. And she doesn't deserve, I mean, I would like to think. Well, first of all, I'm like, you're not caught up on the show because there's no scenario where Will Culp would be on the back of Brad's golf
Yeah.
cart at this moment in time. But I would like to think she wouldn't have thought that if I wasn't with Brad. Like, I would like to think that in a normal scenario, I wouldn't have this happen. But it gagged me a bit, and I was like, how can I change my appearance to look less like Will? But then this also goes back to the one time that I met Emmy, which was at the Sir Wiener's party that was in episode 1. I didn't know what to say to her because I've talked shit about her like pretty extensively, and I didn't know about the racism. Like, if I knew about what was going on with that stuff, I wouldn't have even had the conversation with her. But at that point, I don't know what's going on during film, and that stuff hadn't even released, like started during filming yet. But she was there, she started talking to me, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll like have this conversation. I like talked to everybody else. And we ended up having a really long conversation about nothing, and people that were there, not the cast, but people that were there that like have encountered her before were like, why was she talking to you for so long? Like, she's never that nice. And I was like, I don't know. Like, it was, I have no explanation. But as I'm talking to her and having no idea what to say because I really dislike her on the show, and I'm like, why are you talking to me? I ended up like saying to her that like people in my comments say that I look like Will, but I kind of like forgot who I was talking to and like said it the way I'm saying it to you guys of like,
Yeah.
how dare they? Like, what the hell is wrong with them? Like, why are they saying that? And then I was like, this woman is like marrying this man. Like, she
Yeah.
thinks he's good looking. But then she said that she doesn't think I look like him. So I was like, thank you, I think. I don't know
The
what
nicest thing she's ever said.
I
but
don't
is
think you
it?
look like him.
I think it's an insult coming from her. I don't know. I was just like, this is the weirdest conversation I've ever had. I was like, I gotta go. And I would
That's
like to think, because she
hilarious.
was mic'd, I would like to think that that footage exists somewhere.
It has.
And when I pop off, like, I'll get it from them.
Yeah.
When
You
you
need
pop
that.
off. Come on.
When I become the next cast member on Southern Hospitality.
Yeah. Gosh. Please do that.
Yeah.
I
We
mean,
need
if Bravo calls, I'll
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah. I don't think any of us would turn down that call.
No, I'd rather go on Summer House, to be honest.
Yeah.
Same.
That's
Yeah,
more where I
same.
would see. That seems like a more fun filming experience.
Yeah.
But
Totally.
I would move to Charleston for the check.
For sure.
Absolutely.
And honestly, it's lovely there. I actually love Charleston. I go there literally all the
Yeah.
time.
That's
It's
nice.
really great there.
It's so cute. I was just there like 2 weekends ago, and I'll
Oh,
probably be
fun.
back soon. The vibes are just great. We went to Republic, we got a table. I've never
Oh,
gotten
cool.
bottle service before. Bella, the new girl, was our server. It was like, I got the full Southern hospitality experience. I know you might not know who Bella is because she's not getting any screen time, but she is indeed a full-time cast member.
Yeah, I think she's been on for
Oh
like
my
a total of
God.
30 seconds.
I feel bad because she is literally getting less screen time than Jordan, who is not a cast member.
So
And they kind of
wild.
look alike, so I feel like a lot of people probably aren't even clocking that they're not the same person, but
Yeah.
they're not. They're fully different people. Bella is on the cast photo. She is allegedly a full-time cast member, but
Like,
they're not
like-
treating her as
yeah.
one. It's kind of interesting. I mean, maybe eventually they will. Maybe she'll get more in the mix later in the season, but up to this point,
No.
I'm like, this is what you're considering a full-time cast member these days? But again, it's hard when Emmy's taking up all the energy in the room. I don't know how you break through.
Yeah,
Nope.
she's really just toxic
Yeah.
gas in the room.
I'm
Yeah.
glad that Molly's getting more screen time this season, though. I
Yeah.
love Molly.
Same. Well, speaking of full-time cast member situations, they obviously announced the new cast of RHONY a few weeks ago, and Carol Radziwill's coming back as a friend of, which I believe you said she's your favorite housewife.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I'm so excited. I was stunned. I never thought that this day would come. I mean, because she said like a billion times it wouldn't. But so you can never believe those ladies when they say that. They are, well, I believe that she wouldn't maybe come back as a full-time housewife. I think she likes her life too much and doesn't want to have to show it and doesn't want to have to do what that would entail. But I think her as a friend makes a lot of sense. I hope it's like a friend that is there a lot and not a friend like that one lady on Beverly Hills who has appeared for like 2 seconds this season before this past episode.
Yeah, Natalie
Keep
really
thinking
just
she's
came on
like
to tell
working
us.
in the shops.
Yeah, only reason she came on was to tell us she got a happy ending at a massage, and then like now she's lying, but is she lying? It's like, okay.
Yeah, no, it's bizarre. So I'm hoping that Carol's not that kind of friend, but I don't think she will be. I think she'll get a lot of screen time. I've been advocating for this for like 2 years. From like 2023, she was like posting Instagram stories hanging out with Erin, and I was like, get a camera in front of this lady. And so I'm very excited. Love Carol. I also was like very tickled by the discourse after that announcement happened, and then that one lady, I don't even remember her name, was like Claudia Oshry like showed the DMs of
Yeah.
her like harassing her, and the fact that like so many people were like, fire her, like this is gross. I was like, no, this is like literally
This is
cinema. Like
great.
this is what
Yeah.
we need. RHONY was built on insane women who are like psychologically unwell and like probably should be locked away. This
Her
woman
trolling was nuts. Like,
I mean,
can't wait
and
to
it was
hear
like
about it.
diabolical, but I'm like, this is exactly what we need. Like, this is what
Yeah.
Dorinda would have been doing if she like had access to social media when she was like 40. Like, this is literally
Seriously.
exactly
we
what
get
we've been waiting
excited.
for.
Yeah.
And the fact that like the page 6, and they ended up like walking it back a little bit and being like, we got a little bit more activated, but like the page 6
Yeah.
virtual reality guys like literally called for her to be fired over this. I was like, y'all just want the show to be boring at this point. We finally have a potential cast member on the show who's like unhinged, and you guys are like clutching your pearls. Like, what are we doing here? This is what we've been waiting for.
Yeah, exactly. We need
I'm
it.
excited.
I mean,
I hope
yeah.
that's the energy she brings to the show. And I'm also like, Claudia Oshry is who we're
can't
feeling
wait.
bad for right now. Like, really?
I know. So true.
I'm like, I'm like, do y'all know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously. It's like, have you not heard like her whole family history and all of her stuff? Yeah, exactly.
I was like, yeah, get her again.
Yeah. It's dumbed down.
I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's gonna be something. I hope it has like that redemption arc because it needs. I mean, after taking away the ladies like we all fell in love with, and then bringing us a whole new cast. But I mean, now we'll also be able to watch them on their new show, The Golden Line.
Yes. I'm so curious to see how that goes. I'm not
Is it
100%
gonna be Scary
sold on
Island
it.
sequel?
Yeah, I don't know.
Gosh, I just triggered Siri by saying that. Scary Island sequel with Kelly.
But then there was like that statement from like I literally didn't verify this, but somebody posted that there was like something in like one of the like press releases about the show that was like, this isn't going to be like a high drama show, like it's going to be like ladies like going to, and I'm like, okay, well we need the drama. Like
I'm sorry,
let's,
Ramona's on it. You think
Yeah,
there's
there'll
going
be
to be
drama.
dramatic.
You're right. Ramona will bring it. I have faith in her. I don't have faith in her as a human being, but I have faith in her
No.
to be a mess on national television. I'm optimistic.
Yeah, like yeah.
The
her
Jill
and Leah-
firing was the correct move. That made me optimistic
Absolutely.
also. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how. I was kind of like, how do you fire Jill and then like be like, Ramona is fine, but sure.
Right.
Ramona's
But
better TV. Like, Jill
Yeah.
not only is vile, she's also, like, very uninteresting from a television perspective at this point in time. At one point, she wasn't, but, like, her on Ultimate Girls Trip at Dorinda's house, like, she literally gave nothing. So there's, I guess, some kind of pros and cons there where it's like, okay, Ramona is going to be probably the most entertaining person on the show outside of maybe Luann. So it's like, I get it, but it's interesting.
it is interesting.
Yeah. I'm
She's
excited
very
to watch them in a
entertaining,
new
though.
environment too. Like
Yeah.
them in Florida, I don't know. We're
I'm
gonna have
just,
to
I'm a
go.
little bit concerned it's going to be like overwhelming MAGA vibes like that show on
Yeah.
Netflix, but I'm hoping
Yeah.
that they'll not bring too much of that energy.
Yeah, are they filming at
Yeah.
Mar-a-Lago or something?
I don't think
Ramona's there all the time.
is. I actually don't think, and I think this was also the issue with the Palm Beach show, is like they're technically not allowed to film on Palm Beach like proper. They have to do everything in like West Palm. So I'm also interested in seeing like how they're gonna try to manipulate that situation and differentiate themselves from it besides just being like women we've watched on TV before.
Yeah.
But I mean, I
Interesting.
love Dorinda so much. I just want to watch her all the time.
I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like well, do we know, is the Bluestone Manor show not happening anymore if this is happening? Like, I'm so confused by that.
I mean, I hope it's happening.
Me too.
I mean, I think
I
she
haven't
would
heard
be like,
anything.
"You guys can film me all year round. I don't care."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But just
So
because of, like, the Bravo of it all of, like, would they be mad at her for doing the E show? I don't know.
I don't know, but I know that they also like filmed at Bluestone Manor for Ultimate Girls Trip because like they brought the Rhode Island housewives there as like another way of including them in more
Yeah.
stuff. Like, what are your thoughts on the Ladies of London cast? And also, that relationship is like so fascinating to me.
No, it's so strange. Me and my mom were watching the new episode the other day and we're just like so fascinated by them. And she's like, he can't be straight. And I'm like, I don't know. Did she say that he is? Like, it's not clear to
Right?
me what's going on here. I actually love the whole cast. Well, I think Lottie is the one who's given the least, but I'll give her a pass
Mhm.
that she's pregnant. Like, we'll see
Yeah.
clearly they cast her for a reason. I would hope beyond just the fact that
Because
her
her
husband looks
husband
like
is from
that.
Edward Scissorhands, like fucking Manson drag Disney.
How much wax do you think he puts into his mustache?
I don't want to
It's
know
like a
anything
violent
about
weapon.
No, anything about how, if he did like a get ready with me, that would be my worst nightmare. Like, I don't want to know anything about how he prepares himself, like how he lets himself cook. Like, that's none of my business. But I do like the whole cast. I thought it was really funny at the event. Well, okay, I had listened to Margot on a podcast, on Ryan Bailey's podcast, like the week of the premiere, and I was like listening closely when she was asked about Mark and Kimmy. For both of them, he was just asking her like rapid fire thoughts on the cast, and for both of them, Margot had like really like not. She was like being polite, like she didn't say anything negative, but like if you were like listening closely, it was like she does not like those people. She's just like, they're very like one of a kind and interesting, and it's like that. Those are not nice things to say. So I was kind of focusing on that, and then when I saw them, they did like a little Q&A, and when Kimmy was speaking, Margot, at least to me, looked like visibly annoyed by what she was saying and was like whispering to, I think it was Lottie that was next to her. So I think we're going to continue to see more Margot and Kimmy drama. I don't think they like each other. I love Mark Francis. I'm so fascinated by him as a concept. I like wanted to like him for representation reasons just because it's like so rare to get somebody like this, and it like gives me hope. I'm like, I could get cast on something one day, even if it's a all ladies cast. So he's very interesting to me. My dad was actually in the room when his scene was on as well and said he wants to beat him up. And I was like, I want to be him, so I can't relate. Like, that's who I
Yeah.
want to be when I grow up. But he was like, he has
Yeah.
a very punchable face. I was like, how dare you? I was like, I'll fight you to the death.
Don't show your dad any clips from Made in Chelsea then, because
Oh my God, I got sent him that when him and his, what's the girl that he was friends with? They were in New York and she was eating a hot dog from like a
Mhm.
street vendor and he was like disgusted. I was like, honestly, real. That is really not something I would do personally. But I love him. I really love all of them. I mean, Kimmy, I don't think I'm going to side with in most situations, but I'm like very fascinated by her as a
yeah,
concept. And I just think it's such a great
Too.
cast. Like, I'm so impressed that they found this group of people and got them, like the fact that Emma was willing to sign on to do this show. I'm like, I don't really know
yeah,
what you're doing here. Like, you have way too much to lose to be around here, but I'm happy she's here because I love her. I love her friendship with Mark, and I'm just so excited for the rest of the season.
Me too. It's so good.
And it's just so, like, stupid, like, the things they fight about are so dumb, and that's what I was saying at the beginning, like, just watching that after all of the Taylor Frankie Paul stuff was just such a nice palate cleanser, and I was like, this is exactly what we need right now in this
Yeah.
moment.
I love
I
how
mean,
you're saying
yeah.
that because the fight is about whether or not to like focus on dark things.
Yeah.
I'm being so Kimmy right now. I'm like, don't talk
It's
about that.
so funny. But it's true. Like, after we talked about this, and I was kind of like upset with Kimmy. But now I'm like, she's kind of right. Like, we have so much shitty shit in the news every day. I'm like, I just want to see them drink and like have fun and be funny and silly.
Yes, it also changed my perspective a little bit. I saw somebody who was at the event that I was at posted a video where they were talking to Kimmy about like Trump, and she like said she hates him and called him the C word. And I was like, okay, so Kimmy's just trying to disengage from the news like the rest of us.
Yeah.
She just doesn't want to. I
Yeah.
don't love that she like referenced the drug thing with Missy's
Yeah,
brother.
that
Like, I
was-
was like, okay, girl, that's like a little bit
Yeah.
not something I would have done on national TV. But I get her point. I'm like, let's have fun. Let's drink the wine. Like, why do we have to be doing all this?
Yeah. I mean, I wish they didn't totally put down champagne bong just because it's like, I mean, I have played at one point
Yeah, same.
at like a bachelorette party, like things like that. But it's so funny listening to their points of view on like silly things like that. I'm like, that's what I want. These shows. And then like going to Mark Francis' home. I thought
I
he
was
was in a
shocked.
hotel.
No,
and
me
then-
It
too.
looked like MAGA, like Mar-a-Lago. Like, I'm sorry. I
So
thought
much
it was
building.
amazing, but if it were in America, like if we're in the US, it would be Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, but it's
Just
British, so
saying.
it's fine. No,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you're
it's fine.
right. But I
It's fine.
literally thought they were at like a vet, like a hotel or
Yeah.
like a museum or something. I was shocked when and
Same.
I've never felt more uncultured in my life. But kind of what you're saying about the champagne pong, I'm like, I want them to make me feel like I'm uncultured and poor.
Yeah.
Like, that's like why I'm watching. Like, if they were living how I live, like, it'd be like, I don't want to see Mark Francis wearing this Yankees hat. Like, I want to see him making me feel like I'm on food stamps because I like
Oh my
live a
God.
normal life.
But then we
Yeah.
have Micah like teaching etiquette. It's like kind of strange.
I think that Micah, not that, I think she is very lucky that what happened at the beginning of filming happened, because I think
Yeah.
her kind of being the clear victim in that situation, if that didn't happen, I think there would be a lot of conversations happening about like, what is this lady doing on this cast? But since that
Yeah.
happened, we're all like, we feel bad for her. But I'm like a little bit confused by how she fits into the puzzle.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think she's like very cute, and like her story of why she wanted to become an etiquette teacher. I was like, okay, like I get that. That's adorable. But yeah, like when you look at the cast as a whole and you take that out, it's kind of like one of these things is not like the other, and kind of like, what are you doing here, Jan? Okay.
Like your
Yeah.
family's not here. Your husband kind of hates you. Sorry, just saying. And you're teaching etiquette in like a place where etiquette was born. Like, I don't understand.
And I will say, I was very much on her side with the Dara things. I also
Mhm.
met her at the event. She was like very lovely. Like, I do like her. She is cringe. Like,
Yeah.
that wasn't a correct word to describe her. And obviously, she said more things that were bad, but I'm like, she wasn't lying.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I got it. Any last hot takes, things you want to say
my God.
before we wrap up today?
Wow. Okay. I mean, I just have so many things
No
in my
pressure.
brain at all
Yeah, I mean-
times. I'm like going through all the shows. I'm like, what's going on? Okay. I guess a question that I'll pose. Southern Hospitality just lives so rent-free in my head, clearly. Do you think when Michael's at the table, when Emmy is having her moment and being so fucking crazy, and Michael's chimes in to say, you can't say that because that could come off as a microaggression, I think from the confessional where he then like kind of explains the issues that men of color face, I think we as the audience were supposed to take him doing that as like him checking her and being like, no, bad Emmy, stop. But the more that I thought about it, I was like, I feel like he gave her like a little assist, because by using that
Yeah.
word, she finally like understood what was, if we're believing that she didn't understand what was happening from the beginning. But I think she knows the weight of her words, but I do think she didn't understand what they were saying to her in that conversation until Michael's used that word, and then she did, and that's when we see her be like, oh no, like I didn't mean it like that. And I was like, I think Michael subtly helped her in that moment, and he gets to act,
Yeah.
and he gets like the benefit of the audience being like, oh, he was good, he spoke up. But I actually think he was doing her a favor by using that word.
Yeah, he's like, stop now. Like, this is where we're headed. Like, this
That's
is
how
what's
I took
happening.
it. And I think it's really interesting. And I'm not like
I think you're
criticizing
right.
Michaels for doing that. They're friends. It makes sense. But I was thinking about it and I was like, I think that was not him checking her at all. I think he was giving her an assist. That's my hot take.
It's a
It's a
good
good
one.
take.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, Josh,
Thanks.
it was so awesome having you here today. I mean, I can't believe we covered all of that in the amount of time we had. Please tell all of our listeners and viewers where they can find you.
Yes, thank you for having me. You can find me on TikTok and Instagram at Josh the RHONY Stan. And you can also, I recently launched another TikTok for like personal content. And then also that's where I'm putting my interviews just to not clutter my page. So my other TikTok is at Josh's Inner Monologue. A lot of people think it's Josh Sinner Monologue, which I'll take. I'm documenting my sins on my inner monologue. Either way, that's how you spell it. So go find that on TikTok. I'm trying to build that account up. You can see my recent adventures at Soft Bar, at the Ladies of London event, on the top of the Rock in New York City with the Top Chef judges. Doing a lot of random things lately and having a lot of fun doing it.
No, it's amazing getting to watch you and like doing all those things. So thank you for
Thank you.
adding that channel. And guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on
Rate,
everything.
review.
Yes, all the things. I always forget at least 5. And
There's too many.
there's so many. It's like, I don't know, plague for social media platforms. I
Like
don't know.
us.
Yeah. Just follow. Don't forget, we have a giveaway going on. Yeah. Listen to us wherever you get podcasts, watch us on YouTube, and all the fun things. Okay. Thanks again. Bye.